Throw a slack, you fucking moron!
Hey everybody, welcome to Screen Scare, a movie podcast about scary movies. Like this one, where a little guy goes out of a little guy's chest, and there's a bunch of blood anywhere, and then he grows big really fast, actually. My name's Adam Cook.
Calder. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's your October
I didn't know
been?
we had made a branding change. That's wild.
How's your couple? Yeah, it screams. Should I change a thing in the thumbnail that says "Screen Scare" or "Scream Scare"? Or is that too much?
I don't know what the difference between scream scare or scream scare
No,
is. But I think that's
screen,
kinda,
keep screen, and then do scare, or do scream scare. Like, is it too much
I
to
like
change
scream
both?
scare.
You like scream scare? Both?
Yeah, because it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how's your October going? It's been 3 days ish.
It's all right, you know. Ate some Swiss chalet today. Absolutely fucked my stomach up.
Oh, you have a lot of their chalet sauce?
I don't like it. It smells like
Really?
horrible. I think like something like the chicken was bad or something.
Okay.
And like on my way home, I was burping. My throat was flapping while I was on my way home. It was flapping, open and close, open and close,
You ever
open and
have
close because of these burps.
You ever have a flappy throat after a sloppy din?
I like to. It was like I was playing Flappy Bird. Remember that? That was fun, huh? Remember how fun that was?
Yeah.
And then you just got rid of it. What the heck's that? How you gonna do that to me?
No, some people actually still have it on some phones, so you can buy them on eBay.
If anybody had that thought, I'm disappointed in you.
What?
But like, if somebody
To buy
genuinely
a-
had the thought of like, well, you can still get them on a jailbroken phone or something. It's
You
like,
had that thought.
yeah, but that's because I've heard so many people say that whenever people talk about Flappy Bird not being a thing.
How often are you talking about Flappy?
Dude.
There's so many things.
Dude,
that,
how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Fuck.
There's so many things that you say that you're annoyed by that I've never encountered in my entire life.
Calder, that's because
And
you
it's
don't
just
talk
wild
to
to me.
anyone.
That is true, but also like I don't think even if I talked to every single person in the world at any point, I'd come up to be like, oh, I'm fucking pissed off. This guy said I could buy a jailbroken Flappy Bird phone on eBay.
Dude, name a country.
Bulgaria.
They're saying it.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they have like phones over there. I'm not really sure what's going on. Where's Bulgaria's in Europe?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's not where
Victor
this movie
Krum
set.
is from Bulgaria.
Who is?
Victor Krum.
Okay. She always brings it back to Harry Potter. Is that Harry Potter?
What if I don't tell you?
I think it's Harry Potter, and I think it's one of the guys. I think he dies, and he's kind of basic. He's a basic.
In case you are not yet privy to the movie for this episode, but Calder and I watched Alien. Oh, this is Scary Movies Month. That should be.
Well, we changed the whole name of the podcast.
Yeah, that should have been. You should have picked up the hint there. So
What are you, stupid? What do you got? 2 nuts for your brain? A little pistachio head.
the funny thing is, a brain is actually similarly shaped to a walnut. But we're doing scary movies this month, and I'm pretty sure every movie on the list is a movie I have not seen. Because
You haven't seen. We switched your second one.
yeah, I'm not doing Get Out in hopes of perhaps next year doing a Jordan Peele month, and I replaced it with Signs. But I was thinking of
The
switching
M.
it
Night
to something
Shyamalan
else.
movie.
But
Oh my God.
it is in the month now.
At some point, you're gonna have to pick one because at some point I have to watch them.
Here's
So
what
just
the
keep that in
decision will
mind.
be. Can we make a clarification on what this month's theme is? Is it horror
Okay.
movies month or is it scary movies month?
Well, my second one's not really a horror movie,
Okay.
so I think it's kind of spooky movie month.
Okay. Then I'm not gonna do Signs. Because
Okay,
I
is
was
it not
also
scary?
thinking because that would be 2 Alien movies I pick.
The next one next week is an Alien movie.
Okay,
also.
then I'm gonna pull Signs, and instead I'm gonna do the animated film 9.
Oh, okay. Now I gotta fucking figure out what.
I
you
don't
play
think
that
it's
on,
anywhere,
like,
man.
a regular TV.
I don't think it's anywhere. You could probably find
you
it.
put those on like, do I need to like get a Betamax?
You
player?
probably could not find it in a resolution higher than 240p is my guess. But
I don't think that's true. I think I looked it up earlier.
I just don't think it's on a streaming service. But
Let's see.
we've done quite a few not on streaming.
It's a rental. And everyone's got the fucking number. Oh my god. George Orwell much? Oh my god. 1984 much?
So yeah, 9 will be a rental or a Find Another Way kind of movie. But
Interesting. I wonder what you could mean by that.
I'm not implying anything. But
So we got Alien this week, The Thing, 9, and then 7.
whoa, we're doing 2. Where's 8? Where's 8? Because we know 7,
8, 9.
7, 8, 9, but maybe
7, 8,
9, 7, 8, 8, and became 9. Whoa.
All right.
Because 8's nowhere to be found, is what I'm saying.
So Alien, huh? What about this flick?
So this movie
What a crazy
was
time of the movies
released
this
in
was.
1979. It's a science fiction horror film directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon. Now, Ridley Scott, known for such films as Alien,
heard
of
of
course,
him.
Blade Runner, Legend, which is something I had not heard of, but the poster looks cool.
It's got Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I did-
Tim Curry plays Satan in it.
I didn't realize that Ridley Scott made like a fantasy film, and it's anyway. It looks like it didn't get great reviews, and it's not like super well.
We'll do that. We'll do that one. We'll do a bonus on that one.
We'll throw that in shitbag month as you've coined. I kind of like it. I don't know if it's a shitbag.
month is
movie.
shitbag? What month did we do shitbag in?
Oh,
I don't
Wonka.
remember.
You said, or sorry, that you said shitbag month in regards to when we review Wonka.
Oh,
But we
I think we should
initially
do shitbag
we've-
September next year.
that would be good. We've not done a shitbag month.
Oh,
Because we
oh,
only
right, we
did
two
best
best
and
and
worst.
2 words.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've never done a full month of garbage.
Hey.
G.I. Jane, also directed by Ridley Scott. Gladiator, Hannibal, Black Hawk Down,
Hey,
American Gangster.
Jada Pickett Smith over here looking like G.I. Jane.
Get
I-
my
don't
wife's
hit me.
name out of your fucking mouth. Is that a good Will Smith? Get it out of your, get that name out of your fucking mouth, Chris Rock.
Adam, I'm not lying to you at all.
Yeah.
That is a perfect Will Smith.
Thank you, man. That's
I hear him talk and I go, like thinking back now, I go, that's not how Will Smith sounds, but I'm thinking about how I think he sounds. That's how he sounds.
thank you.
If you know what I mean.
Can I give you one encore line that's one of his most iconic lines from one of his most iconic movies?
Of course.
My name's Will Smith, and I am legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually good. I love that part of the movie because it's like the thing about some movies is like I love when they say the name in the movie.
Yeah, but
And
like
it's like
when
it's
it
like
works.
it's like a little secret for the audience. It's like a little secret for the audience.
Yeah, and like sometimes it doesn't work. It feels shoehorned in. But when he said, "I'm Will Smith, I am legend," it really flowed naturally in the movie.
I was
felt.
kind of like I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta change my pants. I shit it out of excitement.
Yeah,
Like that's the kind of thing
Yeah.
that happened.
dude.
And then like in this movie, when they go like, "Oh, he looks like an alien" or something, they say alien at some point. I was kind of like, guys, that's a little trite. Come on, like
Yeah, when
let's be a little reasonable here. They keep saying alien, and they're like alien, and I'm like, guys, we couldn't have thought of something else. Like
when they were
that's
talking about
ridiculous.
like going to this planet and there being a life form, and Sigourney Weaver goes human, and they go no. I'm like, whoa, we're getting close to saying it, and
Yeah.
it really
Are we
got
gonna
me
say
excited.
it?
Yeah, I got really
We
excited, and I think that they put it in pretty well. personally.
Um,
Ridley Scott also responsible for Prometheus, which is in the same universe as Alien, right? But it's not like a
yeah,
sequel.
it's like a sequel.
Oh, it is a sequel?
I don't know if it might be a prequel. I think it's probably a prequel. And also Alien Covenant.
Yeah, he also did Alien Covenant. He also did The Martian. The Last Duel, which I've heard is actually pretty good, but a little
good.
long, a little boring, and no one saw.
I saw it, and it's pretty good.
Hey,
And it's got our boy in it.
it does have our
He
boy
also
in it.
did Gucci.
Yeah, and then House of Gucci, which also has our boy in it. Napoleon, which isn't out
It's
yet.
coming out this year.
Coming out this year, though, with Joaquin Phoenix.
I think, unless it got pushed back. I don't remember if it got pushed back.
Pretty lengthy time between the first Napoleon Dynamite and the second one. Kind of crazy that
Yeah,
they got
you'd
Ridley
think,
Scott for the
like-
sequel.
But the thing about it is, like, the franchise is so strong, like, you can do that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like what he did with Alien, where it's like Prometheus comes out, like, 10 years after
Mm-hmm.
Alien 4, and you're like, yeah, like, it still works,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. And then also Gladiator 2 apparently coming out next year.
Yeah, with Paul Mescal, or maybe not Paul Mescal. Barry
Paul
Keoghan?
Mescal, Denzel
Keoghan?
Washington, Joseph Quinn, Pedro Pascal,
Yeah, big
Jimon
cast. And here's the thing about it.
Hounsou, sorry. And
And here's the thing about.
Oh,
and who?
sorry. I thought it said and Derek Jeter. It does not say and Derek
Oh my
Jeter.
god, I hope.
Anyway, what were you saying?
The thing about that one is, like, that's not gonna play, obviously, because, like, no one even knows about the first one. It's kind of like, what are you doing?
Oh,
But it makes
Gladiator
sense
2?
for-
Yeah, no one's seen Gladiator.
Yeah, everyone's kind of like, strange move.
Yeah, making a sequel to Gladiator would be like making a sequel to, like,
Blade Runner.
yeah.
It's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing?
No one saw that, my guy.
It's like, I didn't know there was a concussion epidemic in Hollywood. Everyone's got CTE. They're greenlighting these movies. Insane.
Yeah, let me just release a sequel to my Star Wars: The Clone Wars fanfic I wrote. Yeah, people definitely gonna see that.
Did you write a Star Wars: The Clone Wars fanfic?
Yeah, but not like a sex one. It was just like, what if a character I liked
it
who
was
died
just,
lived?
It was just racist and sexist.
As all Star Wars fan fictions are.
It has to be.
No.
It has to be.
No.
That's like one of the pillars of the
No.
franchise. Is
No.
Oh.
Sorry. That was. Oh, and he won an Academy Award for this, Ridley Scott, for Alien. He did.
what was it, like, best director or
I'm
like hottest
assuming.
dude on set?
Let's see.
I usually know this stuff, but this Swiss Chalet has ruined me.
Not this page is not given
What's
what I. He received
What's your
one.
opinion on
No-
Swiss Chalet? Can I get your opinion on Swiss Chalet real quick?
Sure.
Please,
Yep.
please, please.
Oh, you just want my general opinion on Swiss Chalet?
Yeah, just
I
a
like
quick
Swiss Chalet,
opinion.
honestly. I think that it's kind of like the accessible sit-down restaurant where it's like, okay, we kind of want to sit down, have a somewhat nice meal, but we're not looking to pay an arm, perhaps a leg for dinner. Like, we want to be well-fed and it to be a good time, but we don't want to, we're not shelling out, sorry, I'm just spitballing here, thousands of dollars to go to the Mandarin.
Yeah, because the thing about the Mandarin is they rip you.
Mm.
You know, they rip you off, and that's fine. Just a quick update
Don't
on
get
what
me
you said
started on
earlier.
the keg. Anyway, you go.
Ridley did not win an Oscar for this movie,
Okay, then.
but the movie did win Best Visual Effects.
Okay.
So
Okay,
there's
maybe
something.
that's
You were
what it
like-
means then.
Yeah, I think it means the movie won.
Yeah.
Do you know the original title of this movie? Did you find that in your research?
Nope.
Star Beast. Kind of bad, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Like, I feel like I know what they were going for, and there's probably something similar to that would work. However, I don't know. Alien is
what
just
if they
like
called it,
so
like-
much simpler and better because it's just like,
What if,
and the fact, sorry, and I know the sequel kind of goes away from this, but the fact that it's just alien, singular, one alien. This movie is about alien, you know, but it's not the alien either because there's so many the movies
like The Thing,
or the Prometheus. Sorry, I meant the Martian.
or yeah, you definitely meant that. Those words are so similar.
The Blade Runner.
The House of Gucci. That doesn't work. Yeah, Ridley's a pretty great director.
Can I
He's been
just,
doing it for a long time.
sorry.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say?
I was just going to say something that I should have said off the top talking about Ridley Scott, and it's that I think that he's like in the pantheon of like great directors of our generation. Or of, I guess, the previous generation.
Yeah, he's from like the Spielberg, Scorsese, De Palma, George Lucas generation. John Carpenter as well, who we'll be talking about next week. And where they got a lot of chances to kind of like make relatively middle, low budget movies that were really interesting, and they like got a lot of resources as well to make them. Oh my god, it looks like his eyes are gonna pop out of his head. And then like the movies became iconic, so like you get Star Wars around this time. He's not paying any attention at all.
Sorry, Olivia just surprised me.
You get Jaws. What did you get?
She got
What'd she
me
surprise you with?
flowers.
Whoa, what do they look like?
And snacks. Why?
What snacks?
Boyfriend's Day.
Oh, it is National Boyfriend Day we're recording this on.
Oh, sorry.
I guess I don't get that then.
Dude, check this shit out.
Wow.
I'm posting
Are you gonna
about
make those?
I just love you.
Are you gonna put those in a stinky vase?
Shut up. Tell that story for a second.
He's such a ruthless young man. I go over to his house. We plan to record some podcasts. He gets this new table, throws me right the fuck off, obviously, because furniture needs to be where it is when I see it last. If it's not there when I see it last, I'm not going to remember that it was there, obviously.
Obviously.
So I'm sitting on the couch and, you know, spreading out, spreading my legs, taking up the whole couch like a good boy does.
I'd just like to
And I
add
move
one
my
fact that we
arm.
have an L-shaped sectional, and Calder's head goes from one corner of the top to the other corner of the bottom.
Oh, body shame me. I move my arm and I knock over this bouquet of flowers and I go, number one, Adam's never had those. Now, I think they were flowers from my wedding. Something?
I don't know.
They were flowers
from somewhere.
from something. But I knocked them over and I go, hey, sorry, man. Oh, it smells like shit. Because it did. It was moldy. It was disgusting.
I would like
And
to
he-
point
he
out that
blamed
the
me, and he
reason
blamed
you
me.
whacked it wasn't because you were just stretching out, didn't see it. You were making a goofy movement for a joke and whacked it.
Because I'm a very goofy guy and you should know this by
not
now.
I'm not shaming that. I like that. Okay,
So-
we got to get into. Or did you have?
Let
a
me
point you were in the
finish what
middle?
I was
Absolutely.
saying.
Sorry.
So he comes out in this generation with all these guys are making these interesting movies that are now franchises that are getting the life sucked out of them. And with Alien specifically, Ridley doesn't want that. So we'll talk about the Alien franchise for like 5 minutes and then we can get into the movie. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I have some things I don't think you know about the Alien franchise.
Okay.
Aliens, the second one,
Yeah.
directed by James Cameron.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Alien 3, directed by David Fincher.
Didn't know that either. Wow.
Now, Aliens is considered at times better than the first one. It does change the genre a fair amount though, because it's more of an action movie. It's a lot closer to like something like Commando or something, where it's people going on a hunt to kill the alien rather than like a thriller contained in a spaceship.
Yeah, I saw the quick synopsis for the second one. Just on Disney Plus. I just read the little thing that's like one sentence, and it was like Ridley wakes up and, and is just like on a planet, like being hunted by aliens. Or no, that's the third one.
In the second one, she goes back and then she gets sent back out with a crew to go back to the planet and capture an alien because she didn't do it the first time, obviously.
The caption made it, or like the description made it sound like, because this film ends with her going in like cryo sleep.
Yeah.
After finally being okay.
Yeah.
And the description of aliens made it sound like it started with her waking up from her cryo sleep and then like crash landing on a planet where there's more aliens. Maybe it was just a bad description. This is not a good me getting confused about the description of the second Aliens
We can
movie.
do it in another episode. So,
Sure.
maybe we'll link back to that.
Yeah, I like it.
Can we hyperlink this?
Maybe if we do a sequels that stood with the originals as far as like quality goes. There's some easier way to say that I'm missing, but
Sequel. Okay. Well, anyway, then they make a fourth Alien,
Yeah.
and it gets pretty bad reviews. Now, Alien 3 also got fairly mixed reviews.
okay.
And that's why there's a big gap, and then Ridley comes back because he does feel like this sense of ownership over the franchise, which in some ways helped it, in some ways hindered it. It's kind of like George Lucas with Star Wars, where he comes back, and then the movies aren't like quite what you want. Like, he's got his ideas that he's trying to get out of the franchise. So like Prometheus is about like, it's a lot more philosophical. It's kind of about like the creation of all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then Covenant is also like a little heady. It's a little less heady, but like it's still not exactly what you want. But I kind of like it.
Okay.
And I think they're gonna do a new Alien thing soon again. But like you also then get like Alien versus Predator and all those things. And like this movie and this franchise kind of lives in that sphere of like 70s low budget movies that they were just kind of making to see what would pop. So like Alien, Predator, Halloween would also be in there. Like those horror things are like just movies that they were making, figured out which ones popped. Star Wars, obviously.
Which a lot of Star Wars influence in this movie, at least as far as like design, it feels.
Yeah, because I think in general, a lot of the sci-fi that we see today is very informed by this period. Where it's like, and it's done much worse now, I think, because
What,
they don't actually make this
sci-fi?
stuff. Like the sort of design of
Oh,
sci-fi now. Because there's a lot less detail, and that's one of the things I noted about this movie is like there's so many tiny details and stuff that they have because they're making this stuff, right? When you make something on a computer, even if you like, number one, you can't really put that much detail into it, and that's why I always hate computer car crashes and stuff, because like when cars crash into each other, a bunch of shit flies everywhere, but when computer cars crash into each other, they crumple.
Yeah.
And then they like, it doesn't really work. It's kind of the same with set design, where it's like Marvel background sets are very unspecific.
Yeah.
And there's no like,
Even like looking at the new Star Trek shows compared to the old Star Trek shows, I don't know how much of their sets are like full
like digitally
CG or
extended
real
or whatever.
Yeah, like I don't want to accuse them of like having a CG bridge and not having it, because maybe it's a real set, I don't know. But like I look at that show and I'm like, this just does not, like, it looks like I'm just looking at a person and then there's a bunch of shit around them.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look back when they had like very real and like tangible and like it's real sets, and it it sounds stupid to say, but it makes it feel more real. Like when Han Solo is like flipping a bunch of switches and hitting shit and then rumbling around, like that's a way more convincing than like, I don't know.
The Rock driving a car on a green screen.
Yeah.
Or like all that shit where it's just like they're obviously not actually driving or doing much of anything in real life. And also you don't drive like this.
It's like, actually, great example is Star Trek. They have all those computer panels, and they have 500 buttons on them that have no labels, and they're all the same color.
Yeah.
But I still...
it's one of the things I loved about this movie.
Yeah, I still believe that, like, each of those buttons does something. I shouldn't believe that, because they're all the exact same button.
And
like,
none of the buttons do anything.
Yeah, that's the truth. But, like, I believe it because it feels real, because they can actually, like, I don't know, it looks like, I don't know, anyway, I was gonna say, even in shots where shit's in the background, I'm looking at it and being like, oh, that is a thing that is used for something.
Yeah.
And this movie, Alien, is also really great for that.
Yeah. It feels like blockbusters don't really do a lot of set design anymore, which is not me trying to like denigrate the people that's their jobs, but like I just don't think they're allowed to do as much as they used to, which makes a lot of the environments feel very hollow and like unreal, because you're getting these people who don't want to travel to make a movie, so you have to shoot it all in like Atlanta or something.
Yeah, it's like, let's cut the costs of like the set designs and like practical stuff so that we can get some big name actors in this. And it's like, all right, well, it's cool to see Timothy Chalamet, but if the only other real thing in the shot is his hat, I'm not gonna believe it. I shouldn't have
not
picked
even
the
wearing
wrong guy.
clothes.
Yeah, it's just his hat, and that's how he demanded the movie be shot. Actually,
yeah, he's a freak. That kid's a freak. I also another thing is there's so much stuff in this movie that's just not explained, which is nice, because it feels like a lot of movies have to explain everything and like every room. Yeah. And like say like this button does this or whatever.
There was only one like, and this is exposition for the audience moment in the movie. Yeah. But I also liked it, and it's when I don't know all the characters' names, but when like the monotone guy is like talking about like, I made these cattle prods or whatever, and he's like, and these flamethrowers, and this like motion tracker. One of the characters is like, how's that work? Can you give me a demo? And then one of them is like, yeah, sure, and picks it up and shows how it works, and then puts it down. But it's like, that works because I'm like, I believe that they would want to know how it works, and like, that also helps me to be like, I know what that thing they're holding does, rather than just like, oh, that's their space tech thing, you know, which I feel like a lot of movies would do. But
which I think is just also that this movie is just very good. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just an incredible movie.
Yeah, it's so good. It kind of what you're talking about when I rewatched the Star Wars movies somewhat recently is something that I really was like, that is part of what makes this so good, is it just doing things and having things that is just like understood in the world of the movie. And I don't understand, but I don't really need to, because it doesn't, it's not something that's like additive to the movie for me to know. It's additive to be there, but it's not additive to be explained. And there's so much of that in Star Wars, and there's so much of it here. And I love it.
And then what about this? They can fly? They can fly.
They can fly now? They fly now. Dude, there's a great interview with Oscar Isaac and John Boyega, where it's probably like an autocomplete interview or something, but the question is kind of like about who your favorite stormtrooper is or something. I don't entirely know, but Oscar Isaac just immediately goes, "They fly now," in like a mocking voice, and then John Boyega just goes, that line literally makes no sense because they had jetpacks. They could fly previously since literally the Republic era. And he's, and I just love that because it's like two of the main people in it being like, yeah, this is bad.
Which I feel like they were like kind of after The Last Jedi. I don't know, like during the press tour if they were super down on Star Wars, but after The Last Jedi, a lot of the stars seem to
I
be down
honestly
on it.
think that everyone at Lucasfilm was told to kind of like not explicitly say so, but to kind of disavow The Last Jedi. I think some people like genuinely felt negatively about it, but Lucasfilm has kind of taken a stance pretty hard of like, oopsies. I mean, look at The Rise of Skywalker. That entire movie is being like, remember the last movie? That didn't mean
The whole
shit.
movie's like a fucking psycho internet movie reviewer trying to fix, in quotes, whatever happened with The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's it.
That's the
We're done.
movie. So, Alien, what'd you think about it? Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if
Okay.
you liked what you see, who is that?
Another big thing
Anyway.
about this movie is that it's just like it pulls on a lot of things for inspiration, but also was very inspirational to a lot of things. So like
Yeah.
The Thing that we're gonna watch next week, there's a lot of Alien in The Thing, but they're different in some ways, which may make me like one more than the other, but we won't spoil that here. But there's also, I think last week I kind of talked about the movie Leviathan that I watched.
Yeah.
With Hillary, with the guy from Home Alone.
Yeah.
And the guy from Home Alone. You know the guy from Home Alone, right?
The one that's not Joe Pesci.
Yeah,
Dude, I
and he's a
remembered
wet
his name
bandit.
today, but I forgot it again now.
That movie is very much alien underwater. Like they're even miners
Okay.
who are like transporting materials and shit. There's also a Roger Corman. Like Roger Corman ripped off a lot of people who he was like a famous B movie maker who would just like take whatever premise was popular and make his version of it. So obviously he ripped off Alien. And then there's also like still now the first movie that my now wife and I saw together was Life with Ryan Reynolds.
Can I be honest?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I saw a clip
What's
of that movie after never thinking about it ever since it like initially came out. And, other than one interview that I see sometimes with them talking about how nice it was to wear big full bodysuit socks on set or something. But like I saw a clip from the movie because I didn't really know much about it other than it was Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal in space. And I watched the clip and I was like, this seems like really interesting and I kind of want to see it.
It's like pretty good, but it's also just kind of alien.
Oh, okay.
Like, which is
Alright.
if you like Alien, then that works.
Well, then I'm glad I watched Alien first, because I would hate to watch Life and be like, this is amazing, and then watch Alien and be like, it's basically life.
Yeah, which I feel like kind of happens a lot when I go
Yeah.
back and watch older movies. I watched like Casablanca and I was like, these guys are fucking, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. But also that came out like in the 40s or whatever.
Yeah.
So they did know what they were doing then. It's just, it's like LeBron, where LeBron would cook Bill Walton.
And-
Or probably not Bill Walton.
not Bill Walton.
Russell.
I guess, anyway.
Actually, he probably would cook Bill Walton. He had bad ankles or something, bad knees.
Yeah, but you're assuming both of them are in their prime, dude.
Yeah, drinking prime too.
Whoa. What was I even going to say?
Lamborghini.
Oh, yeah, I think this happens a lot, and I've even done it, especially in watching movies for this pod, which is like going back to movies and being like, that plot line or that thing or that aspect or whatever it is kind of cliche. Like, I've seen it a million times. But then, like, I've been kind of having it with a lot of these movies that we watch where I'm like, oh, no. This, like, set that as a cliche.
This is the origin of the cliche.
Yeah. And I feel like you're saying, a lot of people will go back to older movies and be like, nah, kind of cliche, kind of boring. I've seen it before, and it's like, yeah, but that was, I get it, but
Yeah.
that was kind of the start.
It's like watching Citizen Kane. You're kind of like,
this is
"Ah, this
basically
fucker?"
Zootopia.
not quite.
Oh,
You're like, I'd rather watch There Will Be Blood. At least he's a good actor. Fuck you, Orson Welles, I guess. Fucking shots fired at him. In Ridley Scott also made an interesting commercial that I found while I was doing some research
okay.
for this. Which is kind of why I like mentioned, I don't know if it's going to actually be in the podcast, but I was like, it's not like 1984 or whatever. He made the commercial for the first Macintosh computer.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that.
And it's a 1984, like, not theme, like it's literally based on 1984. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's
I've
like
not
one of the
seen
most
it.
iconic trailers in the world. I don't know. This guy's just like fucking crazy. And also his brother was a great director as well. Tony Scott, he did like the first Top Gun.
Oh damn.
And he did Unstoppable. He died kind of young though, so he hasn't been making movies unless he's possessed someone. Maybe that's in poor taste, but
I was like, yeah,
never
of
know.
course he's not making movies. And then you brought up zombies, I think.
no, like possession.
I say we move from this specific point.
I don't know. It's just like watching this movie, you're kind of like, oh, they just don't make them like this
Yeah.
anymore.
Dude, literally
Damn, they don't make them like that's a Kanye lyric. We shouldn't.
do you
say
have
that,
more
huh?
like research stuff you want to say, or can we like kind of jump into plot stuff?
I just want to say one last thing.
Okay.
The only guy that makes movies that make me feel the way Ridley Scott makes movies is like maybe Denis Villeneuve
Yeah, well,
in terms of how he
Blade
can
Runner.
like do such incredible scale and like make worlds so believable,
Mhm.
and also takes on these hard to do things. Like not a lot of big directors these days really make sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg hasn't really made sci-fi recently. Paul Thomas Anderson doesn't make sci-fi. What's his name? Quentin Tarantino doesn't make sci-fi. Like these guys don't really make sci-fi movies.
Speaking of which, though, a movie that I have yet to see, but I'm planning on seeing probably this weekend if I'm able, is The Creator, which is written and directed. I believe written, but I know directed, but I think written and directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One, and it's like
Yes.
an original, like IP. It's just like, and I'm really excited for it. I've seen like mixed things, but like generally positive. But I'm really excited for it because I'm just like, man, I just want I want new, original, like science fiction stories, dude. I saw a TikTok that was a leaked trail. It was like a phone video of a trailer for this new Star Wars show, The Acolyte, that's coming out in like a year or two. That's all about like early Sith stuff, like back
Yeah.
when the Sith were starting or whatever. And I'm like so excited for that because it's not really tied to anything we've seen because it's so long ago in the timeline, and it's like about stuff that we haven't really learned much about. And all of the comments were like, dude, they better have Palpatine in this. They better have Darth Plagueis in this. If we don't see Yoda in this show, it's literally going to be a bust. And it was like everyone being like, yep, you're right. And I'm like, what do people really want that? I want original stuff, my
Dude.
guy.
Star Wars freaks are a different breed.
Yeah, man.
They only really want things that they recognize.
That's why I feel the need to like make clarifications when I say I'm a Star Wars fan. It's because I'm like, these guys, man, they are a different breed.
There was another small sci-fi movie, and then we can move on, that came out recently called No One Will Save You with Caitlin Dever of Booksmart
Oh, okay.
fame. So I don't know, you can check that out if you want.
Sure.
I've heard good things about it. Do you want to talk about the movie now?
Yeah, let's get into it. 40 minutes in. I think we're less than 40 minutes in, but
Let me check.
because we
Actually,
recorded.
this is wrong because we talked like
Yeah, we talked for
15
too
minutes
long while
before
recording.
this, so.
So Meryl Streep was actually considered for Ripley, but her husband
It's not
died
tough enough.
very close to them casting, so they didn't even call her. They were like, I feel like
Oh,
now's not a
really?
good time. Yeah.
I don't think she'd be a very good casting for that though.
I feel like it would be interesting. I feel like if Meryl Streep does this movie, her career goes a completely different way.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's just there's something about her that's so kind of like sweet.
Yeah.
I guess.
I
Maybe not
guess.
this early in her career, but now she's like very sweet actress.
Well, that's the thing. I think at this point in her career, she could have done it. Like it was like feasible, or plausible, I guess would be the better word. But like, I think now that we've seen her career go the way that it has, it's like, not really her kind of role. But like at the time, it absolutely could have been. That being said, Sigourney Weaver, quite good in this film.
You know, I don't have a problem with female characters because I like Ripley. That's your Star Wars boys.
Oh man. Alien was composed by Jerry Goldsmith, who did a bunch of Star Trek movies and Rambo movies prior. So that's pretty cool.
Rambo.
The music was quite good. Now let's
was
actually
good.
Rambo.
My voice? That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right.
I've never heard something like that before, have you?
Let's get into the film itself here. So,
Okay, sir.
we start off, and it's like a slow panning shot of just like space, and a bunch of white lines are showing up at the top of the screen. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, are they spelling out the word alien? But then I'm like, no, these lines are too small, and they're too far apart. It is definitely not spelling out alien. It's probably just some weird, like, interface on some like tech thing. And then they did spell alien, and I was like, oh, they just have the letters really small and really far apart. Anyway, so then some...
You know, I once heard that a way to tell if a movie's good is if the credits are interesting. Because that means that they're probably going to make interesting choices.
'Cause they
throughout the
actually
rest of the
care.
film. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. with
And
that
the
a
credits are interesting in this movie.
little. Yeah.
Now, they don't really do credits anymore.
No. They usually do they do title screens now.
Yeah. Like it's a YouTube video. Hi, my name's YouTube. Like, I don't even know what that is.
So it starts off with that, and then as they pan, we eventually come to a absolutely massive ship going through space.
I was thinking this the whole time.
It's huge because they disconnect a little piece of the ship, and then go off and land on the planet. And then they land on the planet, and it's like a 10-15 minute sequence of them landing on the planet, because it's like just stressing how huge this ship is, which was about maybe 1/100th of the big ship at the beginning. And it's because they're carrying 20 million tons of mineral ore.
Dude, I love that you think you said there was a 10 or 15 minute sequence of them landing.
Yeah.
I don't think that it was only.
It was
of them
probably like
landing.
5 minutes. But like it felt like long and weighty.
Yeah.
And like they'll like be inside the ship, and like all you're hearing is kind of like some gears and shit like clanging around, but like it's generally quiet. And then they do an outside shot, and it's like wind going nuts, like,
And then
and it's
well,
like
the part that freaked me out about it was when they get out of the ship and they're in their suits, and you're like, oh, these people are like 1/100th of the size of the small ship,
yeah,
which is like insane. It's like they've got 7 people. Now, granted, there's a lot of cargo, but 7 people running. What are those big ships in Star Wars called? The Imperial, like the
Star
big
Destroyer?
triangles? Sure.
yeah. That's a
I
Star
don't know
Destroyer.
if it's Star Destroyer. Yeah, that's a Star Destroyer.
Yeah. And then
What are they called? Is that's what they were called in the original?
yeah, a Star Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
I
And
thought
then
that was
a
only when
Super
they-
Star Destroyer is an even bigger one.
What's the one where it's got the Death Star ray on it, on all of them. All of them are Death Stars.
Oh, that's J.J. Abrams' mystery box. That's what that is.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, it's just like they capture scale so well, so early, and it's like, man, this is insane. I don't know what it being early has to do with jack shit, but
What do you mean? No, like it establishes the world
establishing
so well.
yeah, it brings you in because it's like this thing is massive moving through space, but like, and the fact that it's only being manned by like 7 people is like, okay, clearly technology is like reliable and has been established for a while if they're bringing 20 million tons of mineral ore, but also
And it also like it makes it feel, it gives it a little bit of dread to the whole thing, because you're like, this thing's like unmanageable, like
Yeah.
no one can deal with this.
yeah.
But
Well, yeah,
these
that's the
people
thing.
are.
When they just leave all of it, like just in orbit, so that they can go land, I was like, I wasn't even worried. Like, well, you're losing. There's so much ore that you're just leaving unattended. It's just like, dude, that thing's massive, man.
Yeah, they figure this out, and the thing's old too. Like it looks like an old ship, which is
Yeah.
one of the great things about how this was made.
And it's like the sound design. They use such like low, like, what's the word? Like it's
Hums?
like yeah, hums, I guess, but it's like if you recorded your fan and then just like pitched it down, because it's like very anyway. It's just the sound design's awesome. The practical effects are
Sound
great.
Boy. Hi, my name's Adam. I'm a sound boy.
But like after the intro credits, it puts text up that says commercial towing vehicle the Nostramos has a crew of 7 and is returning to Earth with 20 million tons of mineral ore. It says it kind of, I'm paraphrasing it, but like it gives you a little rundown, which I appreciate, because otherwise I would have been like, what's this fucking giant ship? But like knowing that like they were clearly sent on a mission to go get this ore, and it's a long trip because they go into cryo sleep, or they wake up from cryo sleep, I guess. But they've been woken up too early. They're supposed
Like
to be
Passengers with Chris Pratt.
Yeah, great film.
Yeah.
I do feel like that one's been aging well in public opinion ever since people being like,
Yeah.
what if you just flipped who was the main character? Anyway.
There you go.
There you go. But
Cut.
they're woken up early because there's an artificial intelligence that runs that's kind of like running things, I guess. It's almost like a Google kind of thing where it's like they can ask it questions, but it's like based on a database. Anyway, it's basically a supercomputer that they call Mother. And Mother wakes them up early to be like, oh, there's a distress call on this planet. They go to the planet, have this big cool landing sequence. They send 3 of them out on foot to go investigate. They find this absolutely giant ship. I'm assuming it's a ship.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's this weird looking ship, and it's kind of cool because everyone's like, oh, I haven't seen anything like this. This is crazy.
And there's a being who died in the seat because he was connected to the seat.
Yeah, and he's like, but he's giant as well.
Yeah. Big boy.
And a big skeleton. And then they investigate more. One of the characters,
You trying to figure out his name?
yeah, doesn't matter. Kane.
Isn't it like, yeah, Kane.
Kane, who they kind of establish literally in one short scene that he's like the guy who's really excited about this kind of thing. Because when they're like looking at stuff, Kane is like, okay, I volunteer to like go immediately. And the captain's like, Dallas, the captain, is like, I figured you would want. I figured. And he's like so excited. He's the one that's like, look, there's a hole. We got to go down. It's like he's clearly very curious about this kind of thing. And I feel like that
He's
would
like
be
a
me.
little cat. Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. So I feel like that would be
also
me
killed the
for
king.
sure. I was thinking, I was like, dude, you got to do some sort of other reconnaissance or like you've got to have some sort of probe or something that you're sending in there before you three just walk into this massive alien ship with no knowledge of what it is. And then also when Kane is just like walking around these eggs and he's just like walking so close to them and he's like, oh yeah, there's like a mist that's separating them from like the rest of the air, and he's like going in it, and I'm like, dude,
Well, he falls in.
yeah, he falls in, but then he's not even eager to like get out. He just keeps walking in there. It's like, dude, are there no protocols for like if you discover an alien species, don't infect, because it's the whole thing of like, what if they have some sort of like thing that is deadly
Like
to
some
this
parasite
alien
that
species.
attaches to your face.
Or, well, I was thinking the other way. Like, what if they infect
Oh.
these eggs as humans?
Yeah.
But then also the other way, what if the alien is a big, scary bad guy? But yeah, he's like investigating this egg. He sees one like grow out of the egg. It like opens at the top. And then it immediately sucks on his face. We cut forward. They're like, he's got a face sucker on him. We don't know what to do. The lead scientist, Ash, kind of a little sus. He's being a little
Sussibaka.
sure.
Are you allowed to say that?
I don't know.
What that means. Let me look it up so I can see if you have to bleep it.
I've never understood that term, to be honest.
What does Sussibaka mean? A suspicious fool.
Okay,
Oh,
there
no,
you go.
So it's good.
It's fine. But the twist with him later, I did not see coming in 5 million years, which I'm glad about because I didn't have it spoiled. Basically, I had no idea about that plot line because obviously I knew that the alien was going to come out of his chest because everyone knows the chest scene because it's so impressive and so cool. But first, quickly, I want to talk about the characters. All the characters are great, and they do such a great job of like instantly establishing who each of the characters are. And I don't dislike any of them. Even Ash, I'm kind of like, there's some
He's got his own
off with
thing
him,
going on,
but I
you
think
know?
he's interesting, you know?
Yeah.
But like a lot of the characters I really liked.
Also, I don't think Ripley really gets like an introduction until like 22 minutes into the movie.
Well, she's like a background character for like not the first
Basically
half, but maybe
until-
the first third of the movie.
Yeah. And then in that scene in the hallway with what are their
Dallas.
fucking names? No, it's the two fixing
Oh,
guys. The two
Parker,
guys,
Parker, and
I think it's
the
like
other
Tucker or something.
Parker.
Maybe I'm just
and
losing my
Brett.
damn mind.
Parker and Brett.
Oh yeah. Well, and then like she's in the hallway with them, and then they like say something along the lines of, "Hey Ripley, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, her name's Ripley.
Yeah.
It's been 20 minutes." It's kind of crazy that they wait that long to set her up. It's kind of like Fargo.
Well,
Because in Fargo, Marge Gunderson isn't even in the movie until 30 minutes in. You know Marge Gunderson. She's one of your favorites.
so I kind of liked that as well.
I know
'cause
it's a great thing.
Yeah, because I was like, I wish more movies would do this. Because I don't know what the trailer was like, but the whole time I was thinking, I was like, man, if this movie was just pitched as like, there's this space crew, and then an alien gets aboard, and it's scary. That would be awesome. Because then you
This
come
trailer
into
has
the...
literally nothing in it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm clicking through it. It's got some of the scare scenes, but it's well. Also, they didn't make trailers like they do
Yeah,
now,
I
where
know.
they put the whole movie in them.
But like, honestly, that probably benefited a lot of movies back in the day because you can actually see a
Oh, for
movie and be
sure.
surprised by the things that happen.
I'm gonna send you this trailer so you can click through it a little bit, get a vibe.
But like, that's the whole thing. Is like, imagine going to see this movie and like not knowing who the main character is here because they
Or really
introduce
like what was gonna happen.
Yeah, like Parker, the like guy who's like, we gotta renegotiate our contract over and over.
Yeah.
Like, he could have been the main character. Like, he could have been the one that survived, even if they had the exact same film. But then when he dies, Ripley died instead, and he survived. It still would have worked, because they
You also could have seen like Dallas be the main character, because you assume the crew or the captain of the ship, which he effectively is going to be the person that saves the day.
Yeah. So, and that's like one of the things that I love as well, is like Ripley is the warrant officer, which I don't even really know what that means, but like she's like in a crew of 7, she's third in command. So it's like she's just one of them, you know? But she is the best one.
Yeah, of course.
Like she's very clearly the
coolest.
smartest. And she's like she's like cool and confident, but not in like you know, in The Last Jedi, sorry, I always bring up Star Wars, but Laura Dern as Vice Admiral Holdo,
Yeah.
that's like a character with the same level of confidence and like slight cockiness, but it doesn't work. Where it's just like, I don't like, it's not working for me. I'm just kind of like thinking that I don't really like you.
And also, like, you are a Star Wars fan, so you are sexist, and like.
But then on this side, Ripley is basically the exact same way, but it's
You do
pulled
like female
off.
characters because you like Ripley.
Fucking, you're twisting me, man.
I'm gonna twist you up like a little pretzel.
But yeah, I like how you're.
It's a good movie.
I just
She's a
realized
great
you're trying to be
character.
like, Adam uses liking Ripley to appear not sexist. I hadn't seen this movie before last night. But I love it. I truly do. It's so good, and I think like, I don't know, she's just very, very competent. Like everything that she is like. Everything, a decision she makes is fully logical, aside from a couple, which then kind of humanize her, like her caring so much about bringing the cat. And like, Jonesy. But like, that's one thing. There was another thing where like, oh yeah, Lambert was like, we just need to like leave in the escape pod. And Ripley was like, no, that's dumb. We need to kill this thing. And then they lose like 2 more people. And then she's like, okay, we're going to leave in the escape pod, actually. So it's like, she's not perfect at all. But like...
Well, it also didn't hold enough people, right? Because
That's
then they
true,
would have
too.
had to leave someone behind.
Yeah.
So, like, it does make sense that after they lose one person because he's an android, they can go on the fucking escape pod.
Let's talk about that. So I
The android
had
twist.
no clue that one of the crew members turned out to be a robot.
I kind of forgot, and it always gets me. I've seen this movie, like, bits and pieces a handful of times.
Well, because I was like, why is he like sweating milk?
That's like a you thing.
Yeah, I'm the only person I know who does that.
Yeah. So you're looking at him and you're like, this guy's also like starting to act like a freak, and then he's really strong.
He's really strong. I, for a minute, thought he killed Parker by crushing his heart. And I was like, is
Thought he
this
did
movie
the
old
old
enough
Temple
to
of
have a
Doom.
shot of him just kind of squeezing his chest and showing nothing and being like, and that killed him? Because like that's very
And he's
Star
dead.
Trek. But I don't know. It just like blew. I was like, what is going on? Why is he flailing? Why is he moving like that? And then Parker hits him in the head, and his whole head comes up. And I didn't realize he was an alien at first because there's so much liquid, which I guess makes sense. It's oil, but I was like, it didn't feel like it was a bunch of wires like in Star Wars. It felt like it was this weird like half machine, half. Because I guess he's an android, not a robot.
Yeah.
But, like,
he's kind
still.
of like a Blade Runner guy.
Yeah.
Like I know they aren't quite as like milky and whatever, but like in the way that he's not like you open him up and he's full of wires and stuff. Like there's some sort of thing there. It's not like C-3PO with a skin suit,
Yeah.
you know?
I will say this.
Yes, you
I've
will.
been trying to come up with a way to make a joke about the Blade Runner line about tears in the rain and milk tears, and I can't find it. But I wanted to let my
Maybe if
effort
we do
be known.
Blade Runner, you could,
Figure it
try
out.
and write that. Yeah.
I'll prepare.
What did you think of the effects? Because that's one of the big things in this movie. Obviously, as we said earlier, it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. I know this isn't your favorite kind of thing in terms of the fact that a lot of the stuff is gross.
Yeah.
So what did you think? What did you feel? Because this could also inform how poorly you react to our next movie.
I didn't mind like the gore or anything. It kind of just felt like 80s sci-fi gore,
Okay.
where it was just like, I don't know. It
It didn't
felt
like super gross you out or anything, or like
yeah, it felt real, but it didn't look realistic, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Like I feel
it
like
fits
a
in
lot
the
of
movie, but it's not like what real life would be like.
yeah, if this movie was made now, it would be like, let's try and make this as correct to what would actually happen or what it would actually look like as possible, rather than like, all right, let's do this for real and let's make it look real. Like I feel like there's a difference there, so it didn't make me squeamish. Cause like honestly, the part that made me the most grossed out was when the android was like lying down with his head off, and there was like liquid everywhere.
And he's like covered in like baking powder.
Yeah, and he's like spitting it frequently out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Like that was more gross than like the chest burster scene or anything like that. But the effects are awesome. There was rarely a moment that I was like, and that's an effect. Like even with the alien stuff, I was like, I kept having to remember that CGI is not at the level that it is now, where that could be a CGI character.
Yeah, I looked it up, and the person who played the xenomorph
It's just a guy.
was Balaji Badoji. I probably butchered that name.
That's absolutely
just
right.
like-
I have it in front of me. It's Balaji Badejo.
That's fine.
Badoji. Anyway, you tried.
He's just like a 6'10" Nigerian man that Ridley Scott found, and it was the
At a
only
bar.
role he played. He found him at a bar?
Yeah, he was discovered in a bar by a member of the casting team who put him in touch with Ridley Scott, who was like, he's skinny and tall. He could be an alien.
And he's like great. There are some parts of it where you like,
There was only
guess-
one shot of the alien where I was like, and that was a little goofy.
there's the jump scare where it's like,
Yeah, that's the
He goes
one
like that?
where he has his
Yeah.
hands up, and it flashes, and he goes, "Ah!" And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that was a little bit
Yeah.
like, oop, and that was like boo energy, like saying boo to someone to scare them.
I also feel like I don't have a good picture of what the xenomorph, like the image of the xenomorph in my mind, I feel like is different than what it might actually look like in the movies, you know?
Yeah,
So like when I saw some of the things where it seems like it's just kind of a guy, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of messed up. But it's probably because that's not what a xenomorph or like that's what a xenomorph looks like. It's not what I think it looks like.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying. Like you're going,
Yeah.
oh, that looks like a guy in a suit. That clearly isn't correct, but like
Because I don't
technically
think
that
of
is correct.
xenomorphs as like human,
Yeah,
right? Like I don't think they have 2 arms and 2 legs, but this one does.
Yeah.
And it might be because he's young. I don't know. I
The
guess we'll
point-
see when we watch Aliens.
sure. But yeah, the alien looks great, especially in the final encounter with Ripley, like coming out of the wall. He looks excellent. And And the way that like he opens his mouth and there's a set of teeth, then another set of teeth, and then weird sticky out mouth comes out of that set of teeth. It's like, it's something where I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like that's a
And
weird
like the teeth
alien
are metal
design.
too.
What?
I think the teeth are metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like,
It's just it's the little details, right?
well, as Ash says, it's a perfect specimen.
Yeah.
but it's
and
like-
that's why I think I should kind of do some body morphing, try and get there.
I'd say so, for sure. Start with elongating your forehead and removing your eyes, I'd say. He's moving his skin around. It worked. You look exactly like a xenomorph. Dude,
And I
if your uvula stuck out and it had a little mouth. But like, it's
My uvula is a piece of shit. It's a bad person.
that's good. I'm sorry to hear that.
Sometimes he says bad things.
Do you just mean your throat? Like every time you say a bad thing, it's just your uvula
Sometimes
saying
he
it?
makes me say bad things.
Sometimes my uvula makes me say bad things. I like that a lot.
Shut the fuck up, Adam, you fucking skunk.
Whoa, was
Dude,
that you
calm
or the
down.
uvula?
Well, did it sound like my voice?
Yeah.
Oh,
But the
I think it was
anyway,
you
the
or-
the effects are awesome. They look great and they're very cool. So they get picked off one by one. They are trying to learn more about this alien. They don't know anything, but they're like, I guess let's try fire. And isn't it Ash who's like, I guess let's try fire? So he must know that like fire's not really gonna do shit.
Yeah. He says, like, well, animals run away from fire.
Dude, I wonder if fire would make the xenomorph like stronger, because we don't actually see him get hit with fire at all at any point.
We also don't really see him, like, kill people.
No.
Like, it's not gross in that way where it's like it's showing the murders or whatever, right? It's not like a slasher.
Yeah, we just see like close-ups of the big or the little mouth sticking out and like going through their chests, I think.
Yeah. They're just getting in them.
Yeah, just getting him in them somewhere.
The most graphic scene's the chest burster and
Yeah.
Ash,
And what?
I think. And Ash.
Oh,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
the android scene.
Well, yeah, because those are the only ones that like they stick on. Most of them are like a frame or two. But yeah, Ash and Kane, I guess, are the only two deaths we actually see. Because Kane, it bursts out of his chest. Ash,
Yeah,
we
I
see him
don't
get
think you
beat
come
to
back
death.
from that.
But like Dallas, we kind of just like see the wah! Like the boo shot of the alien, and then it cuts away, and they're literally like, his body's gone.
Yeah.
Who was it? Brett. Brett's the first to die aside from Kane, because he goes looking for the cat by himself. Are you guys dumb?
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. And he goes into that chain room where there's chains hanging and
Yeah.
water coming down.
Dude, and it's
I'm like,
so
what the
long.
fuck is that room?
I wrote this down in my notes. The scariest parts of the movies are when nothing's happening, because you know something will or is happening.
It just builds so much tension. I don't know. It's why this movie is so great and highly regarded.
Yeah.
Because Ridley Scott, number one, can frame and block and do these long takes of things not really happening. And it's interesting and builds tension. And it works.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, movies that kind of draw on this thing, or like lower tier horror movies, don't really do that well.
Yeah.
But like Get Out is a movie where there's like long kind of pauses, right? And that's why I think it kind of works.
Yeah.
In a lot of some slasher movies, there's like some long pauses, especially the first Halloween. And it works. I don't know. I was just so impressed by, like, this is literally a movie that they do not make anymore. And they
Yeah.
don't really like give a lot of people the chance to make. But this came out of a time when they were just giving people chances to make interesting things.
Which I kind
because-
of hope we get a resurgence of studios being like, audiences are kind of like uninterested in everything we're putting out, we got to just like start throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah. And like in this time, it was because we were kind of in the same period as we are now, where like things aren't as financially successful as you'd think they would be, even though like the numbers are still big.
Yeah.
Like here's a little gripe. These like box office records that get broken so often are like mostly because of inflation. It's
Yeah.
not because more people are seeing the movie.
Yeah.
Like, we're not counting admissions. We're counting ticket prices. And an IMAX ticket is $25.
Yeah. Whereas like a movie ticket used to be like literally $8 back in the day.
Yeah. So I just think that's kind of silly.
Agreed.
I hope we get back to some sort of thing like this, because
I think
You
we
gotta
might
take
be. I
shots.
honestly think the writers' strike impact is going to have some sort of a shift like that.
I hope. But like, you also still have these old fucks. So that's such a rude way to say it. But all these
You're right, though.
fucking guys are old.
Yeah.
Like, and Bob Iger's thing when he came in was like, why would we make 20 to 30 movies and that could hit when we could make 10 that are like pretty much guaranteed in 4 quadrants? We shouldn't be making like 5 movies for this kind of person, 5 for this kind of person, 5 for this kind of person, 5 for this kind of person. We should make 10 for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone does now. And that's why movies are very bland, because it's supposed to be for everyone instead of like specific people.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Well, yeah, that's
Now you
literally
go
the
see a
thing that is
movie-
said about Marvel movies is like anyone can see these movies. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
so that can exist, but also where's my film that like my mom doesn't want to watch, but my dad does? You know what I mean?
yeah. Where it's like, or like Bottoms, right? Like Bottoms isn't a movie for everyone.
Yeah.
Did you watch it with Olivia, by the way?
No, she went and saw
I
it
know
alone.
she went to see it.
I was
What'd she
watching
think?
Alien at home. She just went
She
alone.
like-
She had a horrible theater experience though. Apparently
Oh,
the
right, the
projector
thing
cut out
cut out.
6 times.
That sucks.
Yeah. And even worse, it's not like the movie stopped 6 times. She said that like most of the time the picture cut out, but the audio would keep going, which I think
That
is
sucks.
worse.
Yeah.
Stop the movie then, please. I don't want to
That
hear it
happened
if
to
I'm not
me.
seeing it.
During John Wick 2, went to see that in D-Box. Some of the seats weren't working. It was during a blizzard. Blizzard cut the power to the whole theater. And then we just missed like a big chunk of it up to like a little bit past the subway scene where they're shooting at each other. And which is like the best part.
Wait, and they didn't
And now
rewind it?
No.
Oh, because they're on a
We just
tight
got a free
schedule.
voucher. Yeah.
That's so dumb.
What are you gonna do? Also, like, who's gonna rewind it? Like, these things are just set up to go. Like,
Whatever. I guess
there's no
so.
projectionists anymore.
Well, the thing is, Olivia saw hers at like a
Oh, Princess Cinemas. So
Yeah.
they have someone at least like
it's like a local
monitoring
theater.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the movie The Creator by Gareth Edwards, I'm excited to see. But Alien, dude, I don't know. I also feel like this movie is perfectly paced, and it takes a lot of those slow moments, but they don't feel so. And they do so many like long, slow, like sweeping shots through the ship. Like even when there's nobody in the shots at all. And I don't know. It just like sets a mood and sets a tone where it's like, I don't know. This movie, I honestly don't know how much more there is to even say about this movie. I barely wrote any notes because I felt like I was just like absorbing it, and there's not a lot to like say other than how cool it is.
A thing that I liked about this movie is that there's no like thing at the end where there's some huge fight, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like she's fighting him on the big, like the xenomorph on the big ship and like using a bunch of different things to try and kill it, or like causing explosions.
Well, yeah,
There's
in
the
my
really
notes, I
tense sequence of
initially
her-
wrote something about the final fight and then changed it to final encounter. Because it's like,
Because it's not like a fight.
yeah, but I instinctively assumed that's what it was. But then I was like, no, it's more than that, I feel. But it's also less.
And like, I think the idea of moving it from the big ship that's so like cavernous, and also the scene of her like setting up the self-destruct thing is incredible.
Setting up the self-destruct and then going and then seeing the alien and being like, fuck, I gotta turn this thing off. Turning around, trying to turn it off, successfully turning it off, but not in time. So it's still gonna self-destruct, but now she has less time to get off. So then she goes back. It's like, that's way more interesting than if like... I thought she was going to successfully turn it off and then just start it again. Like, but instead it was much more tense, and I thought it was really great.
But like the idea of having her move to a smaller location where
and
it's,
have
like,
a moment
tense.
of peace and victory and then do it again.
And also the alien not like fully, I guess, know she was there. Right, because she's like right up against it, but it's just kind of hiding in that little area.
Well, even when like it sticks its hand out and then she screams and like is aware that it's there, it kind of just hangs out there and doesn't move until she blasts it with like steam. So I think it must have just like crawled in there and started sleeping or something.
One thing I didn't love was how low her underwear were. It was kind of creepy,
I
to
just
be
didn't
honest.
love that they felt like, all right, we've had a female lead for this whole movie and it's been great.
Let's get her naked.
We've got to have at least one scene where she's taken her clothes off.
But like she's got like some butt crack, some plumber's crack. What's going on there?
It did
Ridley's
feel
a
like
little
it
freak,
wasn't
huh?
only let's make this character take her clothes off at the end, but like, and let's make her undergarments as small as possible. Like she has like, I guess, a somewhat like crop top
She has, like, a-
shirt on,
yeah.
but it's like, it still feels like they were like, now let's remind our audience that she's sexy. She's not just like a tomboy character or some like freak shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It just feels
I was just
weird
kinda
that they felt like they had to add that in.
I
don't
understand for like her having to get changed to go into cryotherapy into something else, or like not have a bunch of layers to go for cryotherapy to work. Like I kind of understand that,
Yeah.
but it's just the costuming I didn't love, and like I just find it strange.
Oh yeah, because I guess also in the first like the early shot where they woke up from cryo sleep, I noticed Sigourney Weaver. She's not in like one of the front like full frame pods, but like she's in one of the background ones, and she's literally just naked in there. But they have a 1 centimeter white strip going like around her chest to cover her nipples, and it's just like. Just have her in that scene, just have her wear like regular underwear. In the final scene, maybe just like give her some bigger underwear. It's so small.
It's just strange.
I don't know. It's just
And it just looks uncomfortable too.
well, it also feels a bit out of place. It's kind of similar to In Gravity when like they do this big insane intro sequence where like she's like doing like she's flinging around in space. George Clooney.
Yeah, it's like that big oneer.
Well, yeah, it's like this huge epic sequence, and then the second that she gets in a ship alone, she's like, and I'm stripping down to my underwear. And it's like, why? You don't need to. Have her be wearing like shorts. I don't know.
Yeah, silly.
It's just that's just like
That's
a weird
not possible.
thing.
Women don't do that.
I mean, they did it in
Women
Star
don't wear
Wars too,
shorts.
you know?
They do it in every Marvel movie with the dudes.
True.
Get those fuckers naked.
Anyway, it just felt a little bit weird. At first, I was like, I mean, I guess it makes sense for the scene, but then I was like, it also just feels like unnecessary choices were made in regards to it. I don't know. Just a little weird. But I did
May
think
I
that
ask
the
you some questions?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry,
I have a
sorry,
couple
sorry,
more
sorry,
things.
sorry,
I
sorry,
did
sorry,
think
sorry,
the
sorry,
final
sorry, sorry,
encounter
sorry.
was like really awesome because it feels like it's like this perfect build to a climax, and then it's like, but they don't show you the alien dying or where the alien is at all. In fact,
That's true.
In fact, they fully show a shot of her turning the corner where the alien was before, and the alien's not there, and instead she sees the escape pod. So it's like, it's kind of, without even implying it, that the alien is still alive.
The alien's on the pod?
Yeah. Because it almost feels like too relaxed.
It feels
and too
too easy.
peaceful. Yeah, and it's like, okay. But I like that they do that, and then the final is like, because I didn't expect her plan either. I was like, she doesn't have a flamethrower. What is she going to do? And she grabs that thing, and I'm like, what is that, a little harpoon? What's that going to do? She was strapping herself to the chair, and I'm like, why are you strapping yourself to the chair? That's going to make it easier for it to eat you. You know what I mean? So I just, like, the whole final, I was like, why is she doing this? What is her plan? Then she blasts him out of the airlock, and it shoots it with the engines, which is pretty awesome. But, like, I don't know. I just really love that they kind of tease you with an ending and then do a little... And actually, there you go. That's the ending.
Unbreakable.
I thought it was good.
May I ask you some questions?
Absolutely.
Or...
Oh, actually, sorry, last one.
Fuck my life.
The scene where Ripley is talking to Parker and Brett, and he's talking to her. The scene before, Ripley's like, all right, I'm coming down. And they're like, oh, what? I don't want to talk to her. And then she comes down, and there's this, like, really loud, like, steam vent blowing. And, like, they can barely hear each other. And Ripley's like, all right, I'm leaving. Bye. And then she leaves. And then Parker just turns off the vent, and he's like, all right. So, like, very clearly just trying to drown her out. But in that scene, I don't know if this happened for your watch, but I even rewinded a bunch of times to make sure it wasn't just Disney Plus being weird. One of Ripley's lines is, like, not synced up and, like, very clearly chopped together with, like, multiple line reads.
It's like her first line.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not like they
rewound it, too.
tried
I was
to... Like, they could have just had her re-record a line and just had the shot be on the other characters for that part. And then
like have her start saying it with the shot on her and turn it towards the other guy.
Yeah, but they had a full on her, pretty well lit shot of her being, like, completely out of sync and chopped up. Anyway, that was the last thing I want to say. Just that I noticed that.
I'm not going to ask you if I can ask questions now because you're going to fuck me again. What do you think about the xenomorph in the legacy of Hollywood monsters? Now, let me give you a little context here. We have the likes of Dracula. What's the big guy? Frankenstein. We got King Kong. We got Godzilla. We also got, like the slashers. We got Michael Myers. We've got the Freddy Krueger. We've got those people. And there's other monsters as well, obviously. But do you like the xenomorph as a villain character?
Yes. I feel like the alien is, like, the fact that there's nothing known about it other than it's, like, undefeatable, basically, kind of makes it, like, not a formidable foe, but, like, makes it scary immediately. Whereas, like, I feel like a lot of the others that you listed, they kind of have to, like I feel like King Kong,
scary.
Godzilla, like, even some of the slasher guys, maybe in some instances, like, there is a little bit of, like, a sympathy thread that you're supposed to feel, especially with, like, King Kong and a little bit with Godzilla, but, like, where it's like you're supposed to like and kind of root for these guys a little bit.
Yeah,
that
and
is
there's also
not
a part
here.
of it where, like, they've got to show you the reason why they're so scary.
Yeah,
Like, they've got to prove it to you, where I don't feel like this necessarily needs to be proved to you. Number one, because the effect is so gross, especially the face hugger.
Yeah.
And then number two, it's just like, oh yeah, it's like the scariest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
An alien from space that can't be killed by anything.
And is like hunting you and is quiet.
And is like intelligent.
Yeah. It's like literally like the perfect monster from your dreams, kind of.
Well, I'm the perfect monster from your dreams.
Yes, that's true. Sorry, I should have clarified.
Yeah, I just want the people to know.
Yeah. But what makes it even scarier, which kind of works in the alien's favor, is that like it's after they leave and are just in space. Obviously, like, regardless of where you are and this thing is around you and wanting to kill you, that's a bad situation. But something about them being just out in space is like, and there's nowhere to go. At least even if it was on the planet with even more aliens, it would be like, well, you can run in that direction for a bit. In space, it's like, all right, we're here and we're stuck with it. And that makes it even worse. And the fact that it's using the air vents, it can get anywhere.
Yeah, an air anagram for
Aryan.
Not what an anagram is. Would you save that fucking cat?
If it was like easy to, but I wouldn't go out of my way.
I feel like she was really trying to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
It felt, well, here's the thing. It felt like she went and looked for it, but then she like grabbed something and I was like, oh, maybe like she was just going and getting this thing and then was getting the cat along the way. But then I realized the thing she was grabbing was the cat cage.
Yeah.
So she like, she was like, guys, this is the plan. We are meeting here in 7 minutes. And then goes, might take a little detour to go get Jonesy, though.
I think this is like, and this might be wrong, the movie that like inspired the Save the Cat thing. Do you know about that thing?
No.
There's this famous screenwriting book called Save the Cat. And like one of the things it says is to build sympathy with your character, you have to have it save the cat, which is like do something good. And I feel like it was a little unnecessary. Not that that was the purpose in this movie, because I think that's kind of a bit of a weird misreading. But like, I don't think she needed to save the cat for us to like her anymore.
No, I already liked her.
Yeah. And maybe that's just like us looking back at a movie, knowing sort of the context of it, and Sigourney Weaver as the mother of the Na'vi or whatever.
Yeah.
Immaculately conceived. But like, I don't know. It felt a little bit like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, everyone's fucking dead and you're gonna
that's the
go
thing.
after the cat?
If it was like, because her going and getting the cat felt like, okay, what are you doing? But then when she like goes the second time and she had left the cat there, because she leaves the cat after she sees the alien. And the alien kind of like looks at the cat and I'm like, that cat's dead. But then she gets back there and the cat's still there. So she's just like, oh, awesome. Like in that instance, I'm like, yeah, grab the cat. Like you're about to get on the escape pod. The cat's right there. Obviously grab the cat. But as far as like going way out of the way, it's like everyone else on the ship is dead. You don't.
And also, like, it felt like the first illogical thing she was doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
from like
her
maybe
arguments and stuff are pretty logical.
Yeah, aside from maybe the being like, or no, because you said, as you said, there weren't enough spots on the escape pod during the first conversation.
You want to go on a mission to Mars?
Yeah. No. I want to go in space. But if they go
space?
What?
What space?
All of it. Preferably a planet with aliens on it, but like not this kind. Preferably.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to go into space, and I'd like to be how you say the Christopher Columbus of intergalactic travel.
That would be awesome. I'd love that.
Infecting people left, right, and center.
Uh,
What are your thoughts on aliens? I think I asked you this in the Close Encounters.
yeah, I love aliens, man,
episode.
and it's only been growing recently.
Yeah, with this news, these Mexican people, they have those aliens, right? You seen those guys?
Heard about it, but I saw the pictures and it looked like a paper mache.
Yeah, it looked pretty fucking fake.
Here's the thing, though. Who knows? Maybe they are telling the truth and that is an alien. But, like,
Yeah.
I'm not putting much stock
I follow
in that.
some alien subreddits, and it's pretty fun, but it's mostly just people being like, what the fuck's this thing in the sky?
Yeah. And then it's usually, you look at the comments and it's usually someone being like, oh, that's like a weird, like environmental anomaly or something.
Yeah.
But dude, I love aliens. Space. I've been thinking about space. Dude, yeah. This morning I went to work. I work on a construction site right now as a painter. But
Are you getting to touch the paint?
I've in 6 weeks of work I've painted 2 days. The rest has been all grunt work, as people have been calling it, but filling nail holes with glazing and caulking baseboards and
It's not that
sanding door frames. It's not that bad. I'm just like sore, tired, and bored. But I'm also able to live in my apartment and eat sometimes. Most of the time I'm fine.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, though. Tonight's an off night. No, I'm joking. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, at the construction site this morning, like it was somewhat light out, but like the sun hadn't really risen that much yet. But the moon was glowing like a bright white, and I could see it really clearly. You know how when you can look at it and you can see like the craters and like shapes and everything really clearly. It was like that. I was just staring at the moon, man. And I was just like, man, that what I'm looking at is like far away, and it's pretty big. And it's just like it's out there in the middle of nothing, and also so are we. And I just like have been having thoughts like that more and more now, where I kind of just like the idea of space and there potentially being life out there, and like the potential of there being life that has interacted with other life out there but not interacted with us, like all of that kind of stuff is it amazes me, to say the least. That's kind of what the new Pixar movie coming out is about.
Wish?
No, there's another one. I forget what it's called, but it's about a kid who is accidentally beamed aboard an intergalactic spaceship and is thought to be the leader of Earth and is representing Earth, but it was like an accident.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
But like that kind of concept is really cool, because they're literally like, we have a network of galaxies that has been established for millions and millions and millions of years, and we're just contacting you now. And like that kind of a thing happening in real life, I think about it a lot.
Is it Elio?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. It's got America Ferrera in it.
Have you heard about this? How often do you think about the Roman Empire thing?
Yeah, I think it's kind of stupid. I heard some people talking about it at work, and I was like, number one, they're taking it the wrong way, and number two,
Well, I also think the same. I think it's a little silly, and like I think it was a little bit true at the beginning of the trend, but I think it has turned into like not that.
I think it's turned into dudes saying that they think about the Roman Empire all the time because Roman people lived before us, and everything that we have, Roman people may have had some influence on.
Yeah. So I think it's
like,
stupid,
okay,
but
shut
at
the
the
fuck
same
up.
time, I think thinking about an intergalactic society of aliens is my Roman Empire. I think about that literally. I do genuinely think about that every day.
I think about, what do I think about every day?
Piss and cum?
Yeah, well, that happens every day, whether I like it or not.
I don't like that.
Were you scared during the movie?
Yeah, a little
Olivia
bit.
is Olivia giving you the light? Is she
What?
giving you the light right now?
What does that mean?
You're saying we got to wrap up?
Yeah, a little bit, but she was asking
Okay.
me something else. But
Two more questions than Adam Driver and Rankin, and
she's
we're
not
done.
saying that we need to wrap it up. I really want to get groceries tonight, and she's just letting me know that we got to go soon. So I get distracted by talking to my
Were you
best friend.
scared?
Yeah, I got scared a couple times. I wasn't like, I didn't get jump scared very much, which I thought I was going to more. But I got scared, especially during the like Brett looking for Jonesy scene, because it was just so long, and I was like, and because I knew that the alien was on the ship with Ripley at the very end, because I knew that was kind of how it ended. I didn't know like how it ended, but like I knew that it ended with her alone on the ship, blah blah blah. But I thought it happened differently. But that whole time I was very tense and very scared because I didn't know what was going to happen.
What was the movie that we were watching and we were kind of like, I get it's funny, but I didn't find it funny. Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that with this, where it's like, it's scary. There's a lot of tension that's built, and I could understand how this could be scary back in the day and under the right circumstances. Like if you're seeing this in a theater in 79, you're going to fucking piss yourself.
Oh, dude, if I saw this in the theater now for the first time instead of on my TV, I would have been pissing myself probably.
So like it's a scary movie, but obviously we're watching it at home and it's like not that scary.
Well, yeah,
Right.
and because we like, I feel like are more informed now on what this is. So it's like,
And like the
it's not a
whole
mystery.
political and economic state of the world as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch more Alien movies after watching this? Are you interested in the rest of the franchise?
A little bit, yeah. Just
I think
because, like,
Aliens is definitely a good watch.
well, a part of
maybe
me is
Alien
like, I
3
hear
and then-
Aliens is better than Alien. I've heard that before. So, like, a part of me is like, I want to watch Aliens. But then another part of me is like, would watching Aliens take away from how special Alien is?
I don't think so.
Okay. I believe
I
you.
also would recommend Prometheus and Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam Driver. Why don't
I
you
haven't
park
even
the
really
car?
thought about this. So our options here are Dallas, Kane, Ripley, Lambert, Parker, Brett, Ash, and the alien, I guess.
Interesting. He could be a good alien.
He could be a good alien. Honestly, I'm going to go Dallas.
That's
the
what I was
captain.
thinking too.
Feel like
I
he'd be
think he
great.
kind of slots in there pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a role you could bring a little something to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we didn't really talk about this cast very much.
Yeah, let's
But, like,
do a
Tom
brief
Skerritt is a
thoughts
pretty
on
famous
each character. Tom Skerritt as Dallas. Thoughts?
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. The thing with a lot of the characters in this movie is like they don't really have much more than like what they are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Then let's just go aside from Ripley, who's your favorite of the crew?
I think I liked Ash.
Yeah.
Just in general, like I think the performance is very good,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that character is played in a way like that character could have been fucking bad and like pretty obvious, but I think he plays it pretty well.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who's your favorite?
I think aside from Ripley, it's got to be Parker. I just think that
Yeah.
he's like a lot of fun. My favorite thing that he does in the movie is when someone like makes a point to tell Parker specifically, no heroics. And then like a couple more people die. No one's really telling him what to do anymore because everyone's just trying to survive. He's like jumping around corners with his gun and like being all like action movie. And I'm like, I don't know. It just made me like, that would be me.
That would be you jumping around corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a jumper.
But yeah, good cast.
And then where do we rank this son of a?
All right.
I'd like you to start it off here.
Okay. I'm just going gut feeling.
Gut me. He's giving me his guts.
Can I give
I'm
you a
looking at-
range rather than a specific spot?
I need you to give me a specific spot or I'm going to shoot myself in the head.
Okay.
Is that dramatic?
Honestly, my immediate
Adam
gut
Driver,
reaction
Adam
was
Driver,
at
the car.
8.
Adam Driver, I don't like the middle part. 8?
But I was thinking, is it what? As in like too high or too low?
Too low.
Well, that's the thing. I was also thinking higher.
Oh, okay.
It's just like it's tough to put some of these movies that I love lower, but honestly, I might put it at 4.
I was thinking that as well. I saw
Really?
Big Lebowski there and I was like, that's probably the spot for us. Because obviously, like,
I'm putting it in there then.
yeah, that's cool.
So below
Um,
Booksmart, above The Big Lebowski at 4.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was thinking, like, could this, for a little bit, I was like, could this take the top spot? I looked at the list. It's not better than Spirited Away
No.
or Waves.
Or Booksmart.
And I
in
think
my
both
opinion.
of us like Booksmart more.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Alien is probably a better made movie.
Sure.
Like, just in terms of craft.
They're very
Well, like-
different. They're like literally on complete opposite currencies,
Yeah. Like,
which is
thing
the
like,
great thing about this list.
you look at Alien and, like, there's so much that went into it. There's such a deep world that was built.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like this indie movie where it's like kind of in like houses and like cars and stuff is like better made. And I'm doing quotes around that. But I think both of us just like Booksmart more. So I understand why it's below for us.
Yeah. And honestly, like, it's also above The Big Lebowski, Step Brothers, Black Klansman, Philosopher's Stone. Like, and
Yeah.
all, like, great films.
All of them. You know, up and from Big Lebowski to Black Klansman, those are knockouts. And then, you know, Game Night down to like
John Wick.
West Side Story, Fast Five, John Wick is just incredible as well.
Honestly, we've talked about this before. 1 through 28 are like good movies.
Yeah.
And then
I'd say
it's like
that.
some ones that are all right, some ones that are decent, and then some stink. But like most of our list is good movies.
Yeah.
So Alien at 4. Congratulations, Alien. Truly wasn't expecting it to go that high. Figured it would go top half of the list for sure. But at number 4, pretty good. Pretty good. So that was, any last words?
What?
Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Screen Share, a movie podcast about. Next episode will be The Thing.
Yeah. John Carpenter.
And the thing about that is